we've got some interesting custom colors to talk about tonight. Welcome back, Troglodytes, to your daily dose of guitar information, the Trogly's Guitar Show. Check out this 2008 Les Paul Custom. It's got quite the striking blue sparkle finish. This isn't Sparkle Top Deluxe territory. This is in-your-face Elsa signature guitar type thing, where it just looks like an icy frost blast all over it. And you get the complimentary white pickup rings, white poker chips, see-through clear knobs. It truly shimmers in the light. Something like this popping up on reverb, you just don't see it all the time. But no, this is not a mod collection guitar, believe it or not. This is a true custom order, which makes it fall within a different category as far as a collector is concerned. Like, mod collection guitars are cool, and I'm not saying that they're not collectible, but a factory one-off in a unique color, in my opinion, is always going to be just a little bit cooler, depending on what we're talking about, because there's some really cool mod collection guitars as well. But looking here, we've got a Nashville-style bridge, although it does appear to be replaced because that's clearly nickel and this is chrome. But looking at the headstock tuners, it's like they were going for a 50s version using the Clusons. But since that's not an ABR1, it's probably not the true 57 reissue, so it's probably just a baseline Les Paul Custom that just happened to get different tuners. Now, when we were looking at the back, you might notice, some weird yellowing. This does not look like natural aging to me. This looks more so like the clear coat has reacted to something. For example, sometimes it's the case, which, there's a small possibility, but since it's kind of in one area and on the neck, what I think happened is somebody had a cloth or something in the case that they sat down on top of it, and then it discolored it. You also see a little bit of that discoloration around here by the tuners. Sometimes that can happen from people oiling them. But I can confirm the serial number dates it to 2008, and it's an absolute stunning piece that you don't see every day. But how much do you think this would cost? Now that we know it's a baseline Les Paul Custom, so brand new, that starts around $5,000, so custom color probably adds another $1,000 or $2,000. Being an older one-off, personally, I would evaluate this one between $6,000 and $8,000, but you have to find that right buyer for it. That's why I was shocked. In Australia, only asking $5,500. It's got the COA. I think the reason why the seller went a bit more aggressive is, the weird yellowing. That's not going to be for everyone. But here's another one by the same seller, but this time from 2003. Advertised as an R7, so that means typically a gold top finish, but now we've got this bronze burst. Our gold hardware has hazed over. That can be cleaned off. Don't worry about that if it's not your style. But this looks exactly what you would find in the mod collection. But the early 2000s is when Gibson was really experimenting with all these sparkly guitars, because it was the new millennium, the 2000s, and that was a big deal. Looks like maybe the original dealer of this one was Musician's Friend. This one still has the large COA. But now I'm curious, what's the back like? Not quite as crazy, so it looks like they went dark back gold top vibes, but maybe with the dark burst on the neck. That actually looks incredibly cool. But the serial number indeed matches up. And according to the seller, both of these guitars came out of a huge collection down in Australia. But now an offering from Thunder Road Guitars. For me, I love 2018. It was a turning point in Gibson history. The Henry J era was about to come to an official close. They didn't make it fully through 2019, and they were just doing so many weird, crazy, experimental stuff trying to make more money to bail out the less profitable sides of the business. And people were at an all-time hating Gibson spree as far as the internet goes. So here's another one of those interesting models. It's an SG Custom, still branded as a Les Paul, but in a satin gray fog finish. One of these models from this time period is known as the Rhino Les Paul Custom, but that one's from 2017. It's a beautiful satin finish. That's more of a solid gray. This heavily reminds me of that, but it's appropriately named gray fog. It works incredibly well with the frosted nickel hardware, then the rest of the blacked out plastics, and I didn't realize that. It's got the matching finish over top of the headstock, so it's kind of widowed effect. This almost looks like Abalone, but no, it's just regular metal tips. And the back is looking like this. I hate seeing that headstock because now I think I might need to buy it. But it's being offered at just shy of $5,000. But if vintage is more your style, here's one for you, a 1966 Gibson Melody Maker in Pelham Blue. These weird freaky fish-shaped mid-60s Melody Makers, I like them. They've got a unique neck profile. Usually they'll sell in that like $1,500 to $2,000-ish range. Sometimes Really Clean can fetch more, or the custom colors. So when I saw this one by a real shop for $2,700 in Pelham Blue, Vintage Pelham blues are worth such a premium because A, they're a little bit more rare, and B, they look awesome, especially when they age into this kind of greenish hue. So I was considering buying this one because it actually appears to be in pretty good shape. They say the arm's been replaced, but whatever, not a big deal. It's got lots of finish checking on it, but that is very common on these, and it appears to be original otherwise. Even the back isn't all chewed up. But then I got the full shot and whoa! That's what the finish originally looked like. Somebody's just kind of played through the clear coat a little bit so you can see the real Pelham blue. We even have the original strap buttons down here, but why I said whoa was it's claiming it's a factory Stinger, which if true, $2,700, that's a good deal. I would want some more photos because the Stinger seems suspiciously off-center in relation to the neck. And with only 14 photos in the listing, I would just like to see more put there. I mean, is it possible that it was like cracked like that and somebody reshot it? Yes. Is it also possible it truly is factory? Mm-hmm. So that was another one that got saved to my watch list because I wanted to look into it further. And look into it further, I did. The shop was actually able to give me blacklight photos. It looks pretty convincing from here, but they were able to confirm that the Stinger was kind of off-center, but who knows, maybe it's just a bad day at Gibson. After all, it's a Melody Maker model, but unfortunately, it sold before they could give me those photos. Otherwise, I probably would have took a chance on that. That thing was cool. Congratulations, whoever got it. But next up, making me excited, here's something strangely called a 5968 conversion 1993 Oxblood Les Paul Custom. When it was first listed, $37.99, that seemed pretty good for one that still has the plastic on the pick guard with the sticker. I enjoy having things like that in my collection. Very minty fresh. The older, the better. This one looks clean. It's got the warranty, the original case. And at first, I can see it's got the more modernized headstock, but some special models did get it as early as around 1991 as they slowly transitioned their peghead veneers. So I wasn't too turned off by that, but then look at this cool finish, the double doggo meme. No, that's just a pet cameo. But continuing through here, everything kind of looked good. And then they get it in the sunlight. You can actually see it is red. That's what Oxblood is. It looks black at most angles and red in others. I was all ready to pounce on this thing. But then I came down here. Oxblood finish originally wine red, darkened to be it. Okay. 10 pounds, whatever, good condition, fingerprints, blah, blah, blah. Factory re-neck, conversion to 50s spec. Yeah, so apparently this guitar was broken when it was kind of newer, and they sent it back to the custom shop to make a new neck for it under warranty, and they changed up the specs a little bit. So they think it's a re-neck from 94 to 98. I mean, keep in mind, a 1993 would have most likely been pre-custom shop, because the official custom shop as we think of it today opened in late 1993. So the original serial number does predate that. However, you also have to keep in mind that the regular baseline Les Paul Custom that wasn't a specific year reissue did not make its way into the custom shop until, roughly the early 2000s. It's kind of a transitioning point from 2002 to 2003-ish. So I would not call this a custom shop guitar necessarily, but it is possible that the custom shop put a 50s spec neck on it. Now, is there a way to prove that Gibson did the work? Doesn't seem like it, but re-necked guitars are always fun. Unfortunately, that's one of those guitars where the story will probably eventually get lost, and it'll just be sold as an Oxblood custom in minty condition next time. So good on the seller for actually disclosing things. But how do you feel about this custom? Listed for $5,500 up in Canada. I just thought it had a nice faded denim vibe to it. It's not my favorite color, but it's far from the worst. But it appears to be historically spec'd with a true ABR1 bridge. So maybe a 68 reissue since we have the maple top, but sometimes people get weird with the 57s too. That looks like a Richlight fretboard to me. So let's verify our serial number. Yep, that's a 2014, so that would make sense. You've got a dark blue back. But there's our answer. So billed as a Les Paul Custom F, not a specific year reissue, but it got the ABR1 bridge because specifically spec'd out by Dave's Guitar Shop. That's actually really cool. I haven't seen one specifically typed out like that for them before. And if you're in the market for a unique custom, that's far from the worst price we've ever seen. And good on you, seller, actually disclosing the Richlight fretboard. A lot of people don't say anything, and there really is nothing wrong with Richlight. It's just different than most people want on their custom. Richlight's perfect for the guy who has a couple of guitars, but I could see how it turns off the first-time buyer of a custom. They want the tradition. But give it a try. You might like it once it's been cleaned and set up properly. But now to end out our episode, we briefly talked on these in a mod collection episode one time, but look at this headstock. How do you guys feel about it? Personally, I think it looks like a giant clown nose, and I am not a fan at all. Because as we saw on that SG, the widowed effect usually incorporates the binding colored and the Gibson logo, but this time it's just the custom split block emblem. But then you look at the top and it's like, okay, that is not too bad. But the shop also has a different one that they decided not to paint the headstock on. What do you think? Should Gibson keep doing that? Should the shop keep custom ordering them like that? What if I told you this one was $10,500 and the traditional one is $1,000 cheaper? Does that change your mind at all? They also had a trans pink one. I feel the pink works a little bit better, but if we're gonna do that, maybe make the Gibson logo a different color, like a pink and blue combination. Now that would be cool. You could call that the gender reveal custom and have like a pink to blue fade. But oh yeah, by the way, most of these are a TV white finish on the back, so that's why these are a little bit more expensive than other customs, because they're highly modified from traditional spec. And if pink and red aren't your style, they also have this kind of tiger one, all quilt tops. Although the back on this one is black, but I don't think the TV white would have looked bad either. All right, Troglodytes, that's enough fun for tonight. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll catch you tomorrow on the next one. Take care. If you enjoyed tonight's episode, consider subscribing. I post videos like this every day, and you might even enjoy this next one.